Hello, I am Abhishek. The question is, it is impossible to wear clothes without transmitting social signals, blank. Even those people who insist that they despise attention to clothing and dress as casually as possible are making reasonably specific comments on their social roles and their attitudes towards the culture in which they live. Solution. Now let us see the main points before and after the parenthesis. Before the parenthesis, it is said that it is impossible to wear clothes without transmitting social signals. And after the parenthesis, it has been given to us that even those people who insist that they despise attention to clothing and dress as casually as possible are making reasonably specific comments on their social roles and their attitudes. All in all, we can conclude that wearing clothes gives out a signal about your attitude and it also transmits certain social signals. Now we will get to the answer by eliminating the wrong options. Option number 1. The clothes one wears often reflect one's status in society. This cannot be the answer because this option talks about one's status in society, which is wrong. Option 2. We wear clothes mainly to be noticed, especially by the opposite sex. Again, this option is wrong because it talks about being noticed by the opposite sex. That is not the intention of the paragraph. Moving to option number 3. Except for a few unworldly fakirs, all of us pay attention to our great clothes. Again, this is a wrong option because it talks about unworldly fakirs that has not been mentioned in the passage and giving attention to our own clothes. Again, it is far-fetched information. So we come down to option number 4. That is our answer. Every costume tells a story, often a very subtle one, about its wearer. As we have discussed while mentioning the key points of the paragraph, that is the gist of the passage. Therefore, it is the appropriate phrase to be filled in the parenthesis, and that is why our answer is option number 4. Thank you. Hello, I am Abhishek. The question is, as the largest and the fastest growing economy in South Asia, it is inevitable that India will be a magnet for migrant workers from its poorer neighbors. Rather than treating such labor flows as a problem, the union government must put in place mechanisms to regulate and even harness immigration. Solution. We have the blank in the end. To get to the correct answer, let us see what have we been given before the blank. The vital information here is, rather than treating such labor flows as a problem, the union government must put in place mechanisms to regulate and even harness immigration. So the point that the author wants to convey is we should take the benefit of this immigration rather than treating as a problem. Let us get to the answer by eliminating the wrong options. Option number 1. As a result, there will be a large influx of visitors from Bangladesh, Nepal and Bhutan. It is totally a wrong answer because it talks about large influx from visitors from neighboring countries like Bangladesh, Nepal and Bhutan. But it doesn't talk about the economic development of India. Option number 2. However, this may cause problems as corrupt regulators will help infiltrations of insurgents threatening India's security. Again, this option can be eliminated because it talks about entirely a new problem, that was insurgent threat, and this problem has not been discussed in the passage. Rather, the passage merely talks about economic policies. Option number 4. India should actively seek the arrival of these immigrants from its neighboring countries to maintain good relations. This option can be eliminated on the basis of the same information as we had discussed in option number 2. It is introducing a new idea, that is maintaining good relations with neighbors, and this has not been discussed in the passage. we finally come to option number 3, that is our answer. That way, immigrants can make their contribution to the economy and society of India, and that has been discussed in the passage as we have discussed earlier. Therefore, the answer is option number 3. Thank you. Hello, I am Abhishek. The question is, the waterholes of Africa serve as a great meeting point of the prey and the predator. The prey, exhausted after the day's hectic grazing, seeks the cool water, and the predator seeks the prey's blood. Extremely tense situations develop at these sites, and herds of nervous herbivores can be seen fidgeting and thinking twice before venturing close to the water holes. Those who dare, though, reap a rich reward in the form of the thirst quencher. However, it must not be forgotten that death always lurks nearby in ominous forms. Solution. The best way to solve a theme-based question is by eliminating wrong options. We will eliminate those options that either give us extra information or provides us with unnecessary information. Taking option number 1, Africa is a dangerous place to be in. On reading the paragraph, we have found out that the passage mainly deals with waterholes of African jungle and not Africa as it is. Option number 1 contains Africa whose role is not specified, whether it is the continent Africa or the jungle Africa. That's why we eliminate option number 1 as the answer. Option number 2, the waterholes are meant specially for the predators. In the passage we have read that both prey and predators come at waterholes. And what is the role of predators at waterholes has not been mentioned in option number 2. That's why we eliminate this option. Option number 4. Herbivores and carnivores are nature's way of maintaining balance. This particular option talks about maintaining balance of the nature. And that is not the theme of the paragraph. Therefore, we eliminate this option. And we finally come down to option number 3, that is our answer. Life and death reside simultaneously at the African waterholes. That is the best way to summarize the entire paragraph. The basic theme was African waterholes, where life and death reside simultaneously. Life has been referred to the prey and death has been referred to the predator. So, this option imbibes all the points mentioned in the passage. Therefore, our answer is option number 3. Thank you. Hello, I am Abhishek. The question is, intelligence probably depends on the efficiency of the electrical circuits in the brain, on being able to try out many connections quickly and select the best. Like memory, intelligence will probably be susceptible to improvement by drugs. The idea of an intelligence pill has been suggested so often that it is becoming more than a joke. We are unlikely ever to produce a drug for transforming a moron into a genius, but a pill to improve intelligence may well be feasible. Rats clever at threading mazes apparently have more colinterus in their brains than duller rats. So, intelligent and dull humans may have significant differences in the chemical compositions of their brain fluids. If so, the dull ones might be made much brighter with the right mixture. Now, solution. To get the correct answer, we will have to identify the key points in this passage. The key points are: intelligence depends upon the efficiency of electrical circuits in the brain. Secondly, the idea of an intelligence pill has been suggested. Thirdly, and most importantly, a pill to improve intelligence may well be feasible. And finally, the dull ones might be made much brighter with the right mixture. Considering these vital points, let us eliminate the wrong options. First of all, let us take option number 2. Intelligence can be tremendously boosted by improving the electrical circuits in the human brain by using the proper drugs. This option is totally wrong. although it seems to be the correct answer on first reading. It is wrong because intelligence can be tremendously boosted has nowhere been mentioned in the paragraph. Although a slight hint has been given that it might be feasible, but tremendously boosted is totally wrong. Option number 3. The experiment on rats shows for sure that human intelligence follows an analogous path. This option too seems to be correct, but it is wrong because the analogy between rats and humans has not been clearly drawn in the passage, and secondly, what we know from the passage is just a hint of chance of feasibility. Nowhere surety has been mentioned. Option number 4. Drugs to cure pure intelligence are impossible to make, but ridiculous attempts have been made. This option too is wrong because impossibility has not been mentioned in the passage. Rather, it has been mentioned that it might be feasible. Finally, we get the answer as option number 1. Drugs to partially cure poor intelligence in humans are feasible. That is the exact gist of the passage as we have discussed while discussing the key points in the paragraph. Therefore, our answer is option number 1. Thank you. Hello, I am Abhishek. The question is, despite the multiple risks venture capitalists take, they have to kowtow to a punishing tax regime. What irks the VC community is that while mutual funds are totally exempted, VCFs are required to pay maximum marginal tax. Following an outcry, it has been decided that VCs would be allowed to set off losses in one invested company against profit in another as an income tax sop. Faced with difficulties in raising funds, VCFs are also demanding that pension funds, insurance companies and mutual funds be allowed to invest about 5% of their corpus in VCFs with a proven track record, on the lines of the US and other developed countries. Solution. Let us find out the key points in this paragraph. The key points are: venture capitalists have to kowtow to a punishing tax regime, and also they have to pay maximum marginal tax to the government. Secondly, VCFs are demanding that pension funds, insurance companies and mutual funds be allowed to invest in VCFs such that they can collaborate together and lead to higher growth. Now, let us get to the correct answer by eliminating wrong options. First of all, let us take option number 1. VCFs are roughing it out with the mutual funds and insurance companies to survive. This is a wrong option. Although it is true that VCFs are trying to survive, but they are doing so by roughing it out with mutual fund companies and insurance companies is a wrong information. Let us take option number 3. VCFs are dying in the harsh industrial climate in the country. Again, this is a wrong information because we have been given that they are trying to struggle, but they are dying. That is wrong information to say. Option number 4. VCFs with their professional attitude can sustain it. This option, although it seems to be correct, but can be eliminated because it is too general, and also professional attitude has not been mentioned in the passage, and what do they want to sustain here? It has not been mentioned in option number 4. So we are left with option number 2, which is our answer. VCFs are having a hard time with adverse government policies. This is true, as we have discussed while discussing the key points of the paragraph: punishing tax regime, and secondly paying maximum marginal tax. These are harsh government policies. Therefore, our answer is option number 2. Thank you.